Welcome to the special meeting of the Sandoval HOA Board of Directors. Casey, we have a call to order, establishment of a quorum and proof of service, please.
Okay, yes. Hi, everyone. We have, we'll
Hi,
do
John.
a roll call. We'll do a roll call. So first, do we have Lori Bernard on the phone? Or
Present.
Zoom?
Yes,
And
present.
then, okay, thank you. And then do we have Kathy Conway?
Here.
And then do we have Anita? I'm gonna unmute Anita.
Let's see here. What's going on, Anita? Speak, Anita. Anita, she's there.
Okay, we see her visually, so we'll go ahead and account for Anita there. There she is. Thank you, Anita. And then Don Wells. And then Melanie Palmer. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not showing Don on the call or Melanie. Okay, so we have a quorum established with the 4.
Don is here. Don is on the phone with me. He's on the speakerphone. Can you not hear him?
No, but thank you for letting us know that.
Okay.
Okay. And I have proof of notice here. And then we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 2:05. First item on the agenda is resident comments on the agenda items that I have here. And I will go through those, read those. And hopefully they will be answered through the topics on the agenda. They're mostly pertaining to, well, they are all pertaining to the CenturyLink. The first one we have is from Kevin and Lynn Berry. Thank you. How much will our HOA fees go down as of April 1st with the loss of Prism? When will the Trafalgar entrance gate drop? That one's not on the agenda item, but that has been ordered for that bar. Next one is Teresa Gleason, 2626 K Circle. Need to know what's going on with the TV cable service. Next one is Gary Austin. I'm writing a response for the board meeting. It states his address, 2612 Fairmont.
Somebody has to mute.
I'm not sure, Vic, if that's you. There's some feedback. I hear myself talking, so I don't know if it's a delay. But
No, somebody else has some audio on. If you're not speaking, please mute your speakers.
thank you. Thanks, Vic. I have heard all about the residents streaming to get TV. That may be a short-term solution, but if we are not getting TV, then residents should get some type of refund. If you think increasing internet speed and replacing that with TV, you are wrong. The bylaws state internet and TV and not just internet. I'm still hearing a lot of feedback. I'm not sure if anyone else hears that.
I hear it, Casey.
So if you want to mute, if you're not speaking, and I've just got a few more left, if you want to just mute. Okay, wonderful. The next one is from Roger K. In lieu of the Prism contract disappearing and therefore the added cost of the service being removed, I demand the fee be removed from my quarterly HOA fees until such time as a new service can be initiated and agreed upon. Sounds reasonable, right? The next one is Kathy Stouth. What is happening with our cable company? Who will it be and cost? How will this affect our HOA bill? Next is from Alex Barreo. Should we get a new assessment payment considering shutdown of CenturyLink TV on March 31st? Next one is from Kathy. I think they have 2. Chaplin, and I'm going to read these together. I'm amazed at how many residents have no idea they're losing TV service on April the 1st. Some don't read their emails, and many are not on Facebook. Your staff will be bombarded on April the 1st. Some feel the HOA should send out letters. Where will residents place the CenturyLink boxes and remotes? How will CenturyLink keep track of devices returned per residence? Will a committee be set up to help the residents set up their streaming devices? Is the HOA attorneys discussing a settlement with CenturyLink? When will residents know what their adjusted HOA fee will be? How will they pay the adjusted amount since their coupon books have a different amount? Is there any discussion with CenturyLink regarding the return of boxes from residents that due to COVID have not returned to their homes and may not until next year? This is from Connie Krug off Wynwood Place. It is my understanding that all homeowners who moved into Sandoval had a bulk TV internet service fee included in the monthly HOA fee. When the survey was taken recently, 70% of the homeowners preferred that system be continued. It's my understanding from past emails sent to residents that the board and officials are working on finding a suitable bulk contract. We were to do two things. Find a temporary solution and wait for a later bulk solution for TV service. Is that still true? ? Many homeowners are wondering what is happening. Our HOA includes some $50 fee for TV internet now. Will a portion of this be refunded since TV is no longer included? What are we to expect going forward? As this affects every homeowner, it is a very important issue. Next, Carol Ruddle. When I purchased my home in November, the dues covered lawn maintenance, grounds maintenance, and TV, as well as internet. Now the residents are being told to pay additional money for streaming or Comcast. The fitness center has been out of use, the clubhouse is locked, and now no TV. Yet we are still paying our dues for what? It seems the management should consider lowering the dues or provide paid for alternatives. And the next and last one from Craig and Connie Snyder. Dear Board of Directors, please negotiate a high-speed internet service with CenturyLink for the residents of Sandoval. Any remaining money left from our current TV internet costs would be used to lower our individual HOA fees. TV choices will be left to each individual homeowner to choose the best service for them. Then each home gets what they want for TV. Okay, I'll turn it over to you, Gary. That's all I have.
Thank you, Casey. Appreciate that. What I'd like to move on to next is the CenturyLink resolution. In response to several questions, they're all very legitimate questions and many questions I've been fielding in the last couple of weeks. And the new board, I can assure you, is working as diligently as we can to come to a successful resolution to this as fast as we can. However, we have a deadline of the 31st of this month. So we basically have a couple of weeks to try to resolve these issues. But we'll tell you where we're at today and what we're trying to do. First of all, I'd like to entertain a motion that we create a committee headed by Tony, our treasurer, and to work with Rob Graves, our attorney, Becker and Becker, and Rob Caves, excuse me, and a member of the telecommunications committee to serve on that, as well as anybody else that Tony sees fit to appoint to his committee to assist him. And this committee will work primarily on trying to negotiate the best settlement we can with CenturyLink in regard to breach of contract. A week ago, last Thursday, we received an email from CenturyLink that they were willing to negotiate to try to come to a mutual resolution beneficial to all. What that is at this point, we don't know. That's why I want this committee to be formed so they can meet as quickly as possible, hopefully yet this week, and talk to their attorneys and see where this is going, what they're offering, and at that point in time have a presentation to the board on our next board meeting on March 25th, where we can make an intelligent decision on, what we need to do, where we need to go from there, and exactly have a lot more detail for our homeowners. Anybody have any questions in regard to the resolution?
I think
Therefore,
setting up a meeting and setting up a committee with Tony, Rob Caves, a member of the communications department, the communications committee, and anyone else that Tony feels would be beneficial to help negotiate with CenturyLink would be a great idea. And I think we need to do it as quickly as possible. So I would second the motion to establish this committee.
okay, any discussion? No discussion, we'll call for the vote.
Sorry,
Well, let me call out. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, this is Kathy. I was on mute. I just wanted to add to the discussion that Al Roper was in discussion with a CenturyLink point of contact that was included on the CenturyLink Council on Cave's outgoing notice. So I think it's important for Al to at least brief this group, or Steve Cassins from the committee be involved, or Bill Duncan, I think would be helpful to be on the committee. They have the background on the what CenturyLink had specified they could do in discussions with Al Roper.
Okay. Well, we can have a
Is he
conversation.
willing to be on the committee?
Well, I don't know about be on the committee, but he should at least brief you. I think it's important for him to relay what CenturyLink told him previously.
Okay, that's good.
And I don't know if he's been, I don't know if he still is receiving information or just forwarding it on to Steve and Bill from the committee. So it's imperative that they're included in the discussions with CenturyLink.
That makes sense. Tony, you in agreement?
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Like to
So-
call for the vote, Casey?
Yes, so I'll just read off your name and then if you could say yes or no in favor of. So we'll start with you, Gary,
Yes.
and then Lori. Lori, if you want to unmute yourself. Oh, I didn't know if you're on mute. Yes or no?
Am I seconding it? I'm sorry. I'm getting
You
some
said-
feedback from
just-
Don,
just-
so
Just say yes if you're in favor of it. The motion you
Yes.
second, I'm pretty sure you are. Okay, and then if you could get
Yes.
Dawn's answer as well, please.
Don? Don?
If he's in favor.
Don?
Okay, I'm going to move on to Kathy Conway in favor.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to move on to Anita in favor.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. We'll have Don being silent at this time unless we're able to hear him. So we'll move on then. Motion passes. All were in favor?
Well,
Yes.
One silent.
or
Okay, next
Can you read
topic.
the motion back? Please?
Yes, I'm not sure. Yeah. Gary had motioned for Tony to be the chairperson of a new committee formed. I'm not sure on the title of that committee, but we know that it's CenturyLink Resolution, I guess subcommittee will say, to work and negotiate the best settlement that we can get for breach of contract. And he'll work along with some from the communications committee. Kathy Conway did mention in for to add in a suggestion that Al brief Tony and then work with Steve and Bill so that way we're not duplicating previous past work that's been done. So that was the motion, Lori.
Thank you.
Okay. The next is the CenturyLink contract, Gary.
Is Steve on the line?
No, that's negative.
Evidently, Steve is not on the line. I'm going to, I'll read an email that Steve sent to me to kind of give me an update on the perspective of the CenturyLink issues in advance of this meeting. He is saying that we are hoping as a committee to arrive at an agreement with the company that offers the best value for internet and/or TV. CenturyLink may or may not be the company for internet services. But for the time being, we are hoping that our attorney can recommend our approach now that the letter has been dispatched. And that's the letter I was referring to that they responded back. He wasn't aware of a response from when CenturyLink when he sent this. And he emphasizes that, what happens if we do nothing? Just let the last 4 years of the current contract run out. Can we approach CenturyLink based on an offer below from a Roxy Farron? I'll go over that in a minute. And these are 3 questions facing us in the short run. And the issue we have is we have the Telecommunications Committee who's working diligently to try to come up with, hopefully by the end of this week, they're hoping to have RFPs out for companies to provide bulk services and/or other alternatives for us. I think that it's safe to say that to our community that as of the 31st of this month, we will no longer have television. So the residents are going to have to look at live streaming with YouTube or Hulu or other means to provide TV television services to their homes. It's impossible, from what I've been told, to have another company come in as of the first of next month and be able to instantly turn on television services. So there's going to be a time where we go dark. And I've been told it could be anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 months, period. And that's going to be problematic, obviously, for a lot of us. It's something that if that happens, the board is going to have to make a decision on what happens to our members' dues when they're not receiving something that they've been paying for. So we will obviously need to address that. And we'll also need to look at, as Kathy indicated, we need to look at a bulk of the members on that last survey wanted bulk services. I had a lot of people over the last few weeks tell me they prefer bulk services. But I think that was before they realized the bulk services could end up being another $20, $30, $40 a month than they were paying under our current agreement. So once the committee has in hand the RFPs for bulk services, for just possibly a streaming service, I've been told that YouTube and some of the other streaming services really aren't into bulk agreements. I know that the group is working to try to accomplish a bulk agreement from them. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I know one thing that they have been working on is CenturyLink is offering an upgrade from 40 Mbps to 200 for the same price that we have now. Quite frankly, I'm hoping that we can negotiate a better deal than that because they are discontinuing the television service. However, they want a 10-year term, which I think the community in general is pretty tired of long-term contracts with any vendor. And the chances of cable TV surviving 10 years is probably not good. So we have to look at that as well. There's other options that they can upgrade up to 500 and for people in the community that wanted to pay a little extra. Again, these are just ideas that were thrown out by one of their people from CenturyLink, a Roxy Farron, who's a senior account manager. However, she did not offer any type of contract, any type of agreement. This was all stuff that was thrown out in an email. And so Steve was not, confident that she could pull the trigger on any of this, even if we wanted to go that way. So this committee is twofold in that Steve's committee, the telecommunication committee, is working on what do we do to replace what we have, and how quickly can we get that done. Tony's committee is going to be working with our attorney on where do we go from here since you breached the contract, and how do you make us whole? And those two things will work hand in hand on the final decisions that we make moving forward, to either provide bulk services, to providing a bulk service or a streaming service. Again, I think that's unlikely, but it's something we're looking into. Or it could be that we will be unable to provide television services at all, and the residents will be on their own to provide their own streaming services. But again, I want to emphasize, because it's the number one question I'm asked, you are probably not going to have a 99% likelihood television after the 31st of this month. So you need to start looking at alternatives. And we hope to have a report back from both of these committees for our March 25th meeting, where we are hoping that there's some results that have been made by that point in time, where we can present it to the community and let everybody know what our options are. And if we have some viable options at that time, we'll take it out again to a community vote to see how they wish to proceed with, if we in fact can get a bulk service agreement. That was basically what I received from Steve. Are there any questions, any comments from any of my fellow board members on, if there's anything they'd like to add?
I would like to just add something. We got, I think it was on Facebook, a nice printout of some options of how to go on smart TVs, how to, the options for Hulu, etc. Would it be beneficial for us to do a video? I know a lot of people have a hard time reading some of the directives that are written out, but if you have someone who is very savvy, presenting it in common language and not, technical language, I think it would be beneficial if we had someone just do a short, brief video. Can that be arranged?
I'm working on that with Rita, and I
Sure.
sent a text message to Vic to see if he could do it. She said, okay, I'm just waiting to get back to me. So we can move forward and to see where we could do it. She has
That's
very,
Rita.
what?
Rita Purvis you're talking
She
about.
has a lot of hours working in with her, but she will do it.
Great if we can get that accomplished.
Yeah.
I know that Rita helped me understand several things on how to hook up my smart TV, and she made it very simple, and I actually understood what she was saying. And so I think that it would be great if she could provide that type of service to the community.
Steve Casons has joined the meeting too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was 2 o'clock. Usually they're later in the afternoon, and I just happened to go back and look at what time it was, and sure enough, you were already on the air.
Welcome, Steve.
welcome.
I just paraphrased the email you had sent to me, but I'd love for you to, give us an update on what your committee's accomplished so far and what you hope to accomplish, so we can hear it directly from you.
Okay. Yeah, I always like to type up something so that it's not too obnoxiously extemporaneous, I guess. But one of the things that's come back to us is this board resolution that allows First Services to acknowledge that if we go with them, that a certain percentage of the board or the door fee would be returned to them for the purposes of managing the contract. The previous discussions, of course, where they weren't sure legally what we were bound to or what might be a down the road issue, but they did send us a note, and that note said basically, listen, if you want to lock in the pricings for 2020, we suggest you sign this resolution. It has to be done before April 1st. Otherwise, they are going to lower the door fee and they're going to raise the rates, which is inevitable. So I thought, it was prudent to bring it back up for review and possible adoption. The two key elements in that resolution I put on my note to you is, it reads as follows. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the association will consider entering into a new agreement under the bulk service program with Comcast offered through First Service. The second one is further resolved that should the association not approve the agreements with Comcast proposed as part of the exclusive bulk service program negotiated between Comcast and First Service, the association shall not be liable to FSR for the 25% of the fee it would have received from Comcast for its participation in the Comcast First Services Partnership Program. Just reiterating those key elements, hoping that you folks can consider that again.
What's the
ad hoc
length? What's the length?
Go ahead.
The length of time on that contract that they're proposing, Steve?
It's not a contract, it's a resolution. That's all I think. Not the attorney here. So
They have a time frame, how long?
it just no term on it. It just acknowledges that if you enter into a contract that takes advantage of the First Services agreement that they use, nationwide with Comcast, that they're due their 25%. So it's not
And
a
the key word
contract
is
in that
if.
sense.
The key word is
Yes.
if. It does not say we will. It's negotiable.
Correct.
We may not go into it, but they want us to sign that saying that if we go into a bulk Comcast, it will be with them, and then it will be the door fee. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, that's not quite right. What it says is, after all the dust settles and we've got all of our proposals in front of us, decide that First Services bulk agreement is the most cost-effective and technologically effective solution for us as a community, that if we want to go forward with that agreement, that the door fee would be stipulated to be a certain and returned 25% to First Services. If we pick somebody else, it's not in play. Does that explain it, or do I need to go farther?
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear, that it is
Yeah.
not really binding us into anything with them. The
No,
decision
no.
might be CenturyLink internet streaming as the option, if that's what's
Correct.
decided okay,
Right.
fine.
And
Thank
this
you.
thing just goes into the wastebasket and never seen again.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Steve,
Now
Steve,
you realize I'm not an attorney. They keep accountant and attorney. That's our basic interpretation.
Steve, could we enter into?
Go ahead.
Does the possibility exists for us to enter into a bulk service agreement with Comcast without going through First Services?
Absolutely. Again,
And
it
there's still be a
only
door fee?
indicates that, yeah, there's still be a door fee. It'd probably be like only $100 instead of $105. So at that point, you've got a decision to make based on the merits of proposals.
Thank you. Anything further, Steve?
Well, yeah, I have some other items I'd like to update you on. I just wondered if anyone had any other opinions on whether we want to move forward with this so we can lock in that rate.
Well, I
Steve,
think that
I have a question. This is Tony.
you're exploring other options as well, correct?
All right. Yeah. The RFP will be sent to probably 5 different vendors, each of which have different programs and different options that we can take advantage of.
I think it would be prudent for us to see what these other options are before we lock ourselves in to the only one that we have. And that's open to discussion.
No. Again, there's no binding portion of this agreement, this resolution. I mean, like I said, we can throw it in the wastebasket if you want. After we get all of the bids in and we take a look at them and we say, oh, we're going to go with Hotwire, or we're going to go with AdCom. Does that answer your question?
Again, let me just make sure it does. That
Okay.
they want us to sign a resolution that we would do the bulk agreement through First Services. They want us to sign that resolution now, that should we choose that as our final option, that it would work under that circumstance.
Yeah, let me reverse it and say that what I think has happened over the years with all these different communities that they manage is that they would get this bulk agreement put together and it would get signed up by a particular community, and then there was an oh, by the way. And of course, then the various communities would come running out of their house with their hair on fire because, they said, wait a minute, why didn't you tell us there was a 25% chunk of the door fee that's owed to you? So they just want to make sure up front that if you choose the Comcast First Services related Comcast contract, that you're aware of this 25% due on the door fee.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
There's no obligation. It's simply notification of the professional partnership First Service has with Comcast. So if in fact we do sign with Comcast for a bulk service at 100% all residents, that there would be a door fee paid as an incentive of $165, and First Service would collect a 25% like negotiating fee, or similar to like what you pay a realtor. It's a professional fee, the 25%. Right. And First Service was the one that told us about this partnership, again leveraging their bulk buying power, but they do benefit from a 25% service fee, if you will. Only if we sign with Comcast under this bulk professional service agreement with First Service and Comcast.
So if we roll the tapes back to what I had done previously, there was a motion to accept this and to sign off on it. Still some trepidation at that point, and it was tabled. So I guess I'm asking that the board pick this back up and hopefully make a positive decision.
That's fair. I think the board can take that into consideration at our March 25th meeting.
I think it needs to be shared with the board. I don't think the new board has seen it though either, Steve. Has it been shared? Maybe Casey can circulate it with this board.
Okay. Right. I'll send her an updated copy just so she knows.
Okay.
What-
And then Casey, if you can send it to the entire board, that would be helpful, see if it's been updated.
Okay.
Thank
Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for our upcoming meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on that one? And then we'll go on to the next couple of things I'd like to talk about.
Sure.
The next item is just wanted to let everybody know that after work of looking at all the different options on the streaming services and the hardware and everything else, that the committee boiled it down into a how-to document describing the method of connecting the over-the-air antenna, the external devices that allow for streaming, smart TV setup, and 3 training video links for Fire Stick, Roku, and Apple TV hardware setup. It's not the end all for all of those services, but we're hoping that it gives the residents a chance to at least get started with any of those devices. And the committee, after much discussion, is recommending the YouTube streaming service. After several of us connected with other services, we all agree that the YouTube is the most flexible and the easier one to learn. So you're certainly welcome to go anywhere else you want, but we feel that the YouTube system, not to be confused now with the old YouTube TV or YouTube. This is YouTube TV. It's a separate icon that you download on your particular device. And then after you go into your computer, you log on, set up an account, then you'll be able to download a YouTube TV app on whatever device it is, and it'll ask you to log in using your credentials, and you should be good to go. So I appreciate the help from the committee on getting that out to everybody. We're working hard on a pretty big project for this RFP. Right now it's been in draft form. It's out with the committee to review and seek comments and changes that we may want to make. Once it's reasonably complete, of course, we'll distribute it to the board for comments and changes if they feel it's whatever they feel is appropriate. I've updated the brief timeline for the distribution because it's a lot of work and I think it's going to take us longer to get it put together. April 6th would be the distribution of the RFP after it's gone through all of our reviews. And the last date for questions and submittal of clarifications would be April 20th. Date for responses to the question, and it gives about a week and a half, the 27th, or a week, to respond to those questions. And that way people can change their proposals if necessary. And then we request the final date of submission of the proposals is May 13th, with an intent to award and negotiations start, and I'll explain that in a second, is June 2nd, with a final award by June 23rd. So it's basically between now and the end of June. Hopefully we'll have our soldiers in a row and we'll have the data we need to make a decision. Once you issue an intent to award and contract negotiations start, of course, you realize that the vendor will give you their contract, we'll have our contract, and then the lawyers will have to lock themselves in a room and try to agree to all the terms and conditions. So once that's all completed, then there is a final award, and I'm hoping we can get that by the end of June. Just a few key items that we're putting in the RFP, just so people know, it's just not give me internet. There's a lot of background data that we're providing in this RFP. Examples are, is the data system symmetrical? Now that we're using a lot more data and a lot more people are on the system, most of the vendors are going to symmetrical. What does that mean? Well, it means that whatever speed you have, it's the same speed up and down, not the 100 megabit down and the whatever 14.625 up. So that's a critical issue, as well as the technology upgrades that we feel are due us after a certain period of time. Everybody wants a 10-year contract, but we're not writing 10 years. We want technology upgrades as the systems mature. The RFP stipulates the types of bulk TV equipment and characteristics, so not just the number of TV boxes, but the performance of those boxes relative to the router and the overall system. For instance, the DVR services are moving to the cloud. So if someone's going to give us a clunky old DVR, we'll know that simply because we're asking for cut sheets, we're asking for performance data, it should be wireless, and of course the quantity should be correct. And then another thing that's in the RFP, which people seldom talk about, is where does the vendor connect to the services and what services they connect to. Are they reliable, and do they provide a wide range of channels for the residents? We don't want to get in another situation where 2 years into it, we have another CenturyLink bulk goes dark and then we don't have anything and have to go back through all of this all over again. So we want to look at the stability of the overall service provider, not only for TV, but also for internet. That whole industry is constantly changing too. So we want to put down some stipulations that they provide that information to us so we can make a proper evaluation. So with all that, I just want to thank the committee members for their work and helping move the community forward on the technical solution to the internet and TV distribution. And again, if you have any questions, please send them in so that we can try to deal with them as we write this RFP.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's very informative. Does anybody have any further questions for Steve?
I do. Steve, so in the RFP, are you outlining, say, like an a la carte? Are we looking for strictly bulk, both internet and the TV option? Or is it perhaps we'll stay with CenturyLink and only looking at a TV option? Are you asking them for both? Or are you asking them for the A plus B, both the internet upgrade and the streaming or the TV, cable TV?
Yes, I've got a pricing sheet where at the top, there are 2 boxes that says, or 3 boxes actually. It says internet only, TV only, internet and TV. And then there's a whole stream of boxes that you fill in with all the pricing and all of the other intricacies.
Good, that gives you more flexibility. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you'll have a whole, 2 or 3 pages worth of data to review.
Very good.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a comment. I want to get back to the questions that the residents were asking, and they all had the same theme. And I don't think anyone ever mentioned the actual fees that they're paying. I would hope that residents aren't paying for something they're not getting, especially if we do have no video for the next whatever time period. I just like to think that no one's going to pay for something they're not getting.
You're right,
That's what
Tony.
27
Yes, absolutely. And that's, again, something that needs to get addressed very quickly because people are already talking about their second quarter dues and if they're going to be reduced. So that has to,
I think
decision on
meet
it.
with once you meet with CenturyLink, then you could determine what's
There's so many moving parts on this, and there has been. The question popped up on the screen: isn't it a little late to start negotiating for any services? Yeah, it probably is a little late, but this is what we got right now. And there was, if you all recall, there was a question of when they sent out the notice as opposed to when we received it. So I think we were caught behind the eight ball to begin with a short period of time. And unfortunately, these negotiations don't move quickly. So please understand, we've been involved in this now as a new board for 2 weeks. We're doing as much as we can, as quickly as we can. But, we're in a learning curve ourselves right now, trying to get caught up in everything and trying to get the best minds in the room that we can to make sure that we can make an intelligent decision moving forward and not a hasty one that we're going to regret 3 or 4 years down the line again.
One other thing, even if you consider was roughly $27 a month for video, and just assume that everyone went with YouTube, which I believe is $65 a month. The incremental cost over what the residents are paying now would amount to $650,000 a year. That's the equivalent of a $650,000 boost in the fees of the residents. That's massive. That's massive, and we owe it to look at what is going to have the least economic impact on the residents. $650,000 hit per year is a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yes. Again, I'm not the finance person. You have a good one on board now. So working together, I'm sure we'll all come up with a solution that best fits the industry and residents and going forward.
Well, I'm not sure from the contract that I have in front of me with CenturyLink for years 4 through 10, the monthly recurring charge for TV is CenturyLink video service is $25 a month. So it's $300 a year per resident times 1425 doors for $427,000 a year. I'm not sure where you're getting the 600,000, but regardless, we're going to need to we need to see how CenturyLink settles the bill and adjusts the bill to just the cable only. And then we'll need to amend the budget before any refund will be issued. So it's a process that needs to be followed, and the finance committee will play a role in that, I assume. But you're right. If the residents,
the 650,000 comes from this. YouTube is $65 a month. The residents are currently paying, you say 25, I thought it was 27, but let's just say for the sake of this discussion, $25.
yeah,
That means,
years 4 through 10 is $25, correct?
okay, so
Of
in
the
addition
contract.
to the $25, each resident will now have to come up with
Oh, okay.
$40 per month.
Out of pocket, right.
So $40 per month times 12 times 1,425 is actually more than $650,000. It's closer, 40 times
184,000 difference.
40 times.
A plus up.
Carry the two.
My wife does the books here. 40 times 12 is $480 per year, times 1425 is
$684.
$684,000. That's the equivalent, really, you know, you can look at it any way you want. It's an equivalent of a $684,000 increase
Mhm.
in fees, one way or the other, whoever gets it, whether the association gets it or YouTube gets it. So it's a lot. There's people who can't afford it and there's people who can't
Oh,
afford it.
absolutely.
Well, that's the principal reason, to your point, that we're looking at the bulk services, is that we have the advantage on a community level of negotiating for these types of bulk agreements. Now, yes, they're kind of fading into the sunset, but there are still some viable players out there, and we want to try to flush them out as best we can and get the best deal we can for the residents. So that's the rock we're pushing along right now.
Right.
Any other questions?
Steve, I would just like to thank you for all the hard work you and your committee have done. And I feel very good that you're going ahead with everything. And I believe that what you present to us will be the best for the community, and it will be something for us to digest it in the next couple of months. And Tony, welcome to the board. And I know with your financial background, you're going to help us weather the storms that are going to come up for our budgets. Again, thank both of you for all your hard work in this.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Any further comments or questions?
I don't want to backtrack, Gary, but have you discussed this negotiations committee that you're trying to form for CenturyLink?
We did. We discussed that in we passed a resolution to form a committee that will be headed by Tony, along with Rob Caves, a member of your committee, Steve,
Yeah.
and anyone else that Tony feels could assist him in this process to negotiate the best possible outcome out of what we feel is a breach of the contract from CenturyLink. So that was made motion, it's passed, and they're going to be off and running.
Okay. They'll set up a kickoff meeting, I hope.
I'm sure that Tony will get that accomplished, and it was also suggested by Kathy, which was a great suggestion, that he get with Ron Spooner, who worked hand in glove.
Al Roper.
I'm sorry, Al Roper. Yeah, excuse me. Worked with Al Roper, and they worked hand in glove with you, Steve, and get caught up from Al's perspective as well.
Very well.
Casey, I think that concludes the business we have for today's meeting.
Yes. If someone would like to, if there's nothing else, a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion.
Seconded.
Okay, perfect.
All set. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Take care.
you.